So, Sadman, what is the best thing and the worst thing of doing a podcast?
Best thing of doing a podcast, I don't know yet, but I enjoy doing it. That's the best thing till now.
And what is the worst thing?
No one listening. Like you're talking for half an hour and no one even listen the podcast for 10 seconds. That might be the worst thing.
Bro, like, how do you know that?
You know.
Bro, the thing is, I wanted to say I find what is the best thing and the worst thing of doing a podcast, but after hearing your word, now I feel like I don't want to say what is the best thing and the worst thing.
Ah, just say. Say.
The worst thing is like finding a topic, like a constant topic. And
Ah,
when I'm searching for a topic, then the brainstorming thing comes. And sometimes I think of very crazy topics to talk about, but I think the whole process is interesting, right?
yes, it's interesting. But the finding a topic is not the worst thing. It's the worst problem of doing a podcast, or like you can say perks of doing a podcast. I find it very problematic to find a topic. Like you can always talk about anything else, but it cannot be anything else. It has to be an interesting topic that you can talk about like for half an hour, and you can crack jokes on it, can have some actual information on it. That I sometimes struggle with. Not sometimes, most of the time I struggle with topics.
Almost all the time.
Almost all the time, yes.
The thing is like we can talk about anything in a podcast, but at the same time, we can't talk about like
Anything, yes.
just anything. Yeah. And the best thing is like when I'm editing the episode, right? And when I find the mistakes that we have done, and the mistakes are so silly that we don't even acknowledge that and move on. And I think that is the best thing of doing a podcast, I guess. So yeah.
Editing is a hectic work for me.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Invisible Voice. I'm Tasrif. The other one is Sadman. So, Sadman, did you know that Elon Musk is the third richest person in the world?
Yes, I knew he's in the top 10, but I did not know he's the third one.
Bro, like everyone knows that he's in the top 10, but the fact that he's in the third position, like that makes me wonder. Like, and his net worth is kind of controversial. Like, one side showed me that his net worth is around $95 billion, and the another side showed me that his net worth is like $115 billion.
Yeah, like the rich guys often try to hide their actual worth because depending on that, you have to pay tax, and income tax it's freaking high in US. I think it's about 25% of your income that have to pay paid. I guess I don't know, but
Bro, like, can you calculate? Like, if 25% you have to give 25%, then it's like $25 billion if you have a net worth of $100 billion. Like,
it's on their income, and there is like other stuff that have to you have to pay other taxes and stuff. So yeah, they most of the time rich guys try to hide their actual worth.
I think Donald Trump did that, right? Like, he didn't pay his tax. Like, what I heard, like, I don't know if it's true, but I heard that he paid around $500 in tax. So yeah. So let's assume that Elon Musk's net worth is $100 billion. So Zadman, have you ever asked yourself like what if you stack up $100 billion in $100 bills? Like how tall it would get? Have you ever thought of that?
I don't know, not actually. Burj Khalifa, of course, larger than Burj Khalifa.
Like what is your assumption? How high can it get?
Ah, it should be like 1.5 Burj Khalifa height.
So like you are almost there, but I don't know if it's like 1.5 Burj Khalifa because I did the math and it showed me that it will get 1100 meters high and it will weigh around 10 metric tons.
Ah, 1100. Ah, Burj Khalifa is 828. So 828 plus half of 828. Ah. Almost there, bro. Almost there. No, no, no. I overestimated it.
Yes, you kind of overestimated it, but like you are almost there. But like, isn't that crazy? Like, so that's a very crazy thing to imagine. Like, I know that like in a million years, I'm not gonna be a billionaire, right? So I think I should not think about that. So the interesting is like that I didn't see that coming is that he is richer than Warren Buffett. Do you know Warren Buffett?
Yeah.
And he's only 49 years old, Elon Musk, and now he's richer than him, the Warren Buffett, the stock guy.
Yes.
Do you see Elon Musk as a scientist or as an engineer or as a businessman? Like, what do you think?
He is a businessman first, then he is a scientist.
All right. But he had a major in both physics and economics. So I guess you can I can call him businessman and scientist at the same time. But some people also call him engineer. So I can include that too. Like, why not? So he is mostly known for three things, right? SpaceX, Tesla, and PayPal. And we are both familiar with these three companies, right?
Yes.
So these three companies are not connected to each other, but like each of them has their own goal. And I feel like everyone knows about these three companies, but I think there is more interesting things to talk about Elon Musk. So Elon Musk Elon Musk owns another company. Can you name the company?
Let me think. Elon Musk owns another
Bro,
company. I
that
don't know.
company is super famous. I think it's more famous than Tesla or like SpaceX.
Wait. I know it. I just right at this moment I cannot remember, but I know. I
Bro,
know.
do you want a hint?
Yes, that helpful.
Flamethrower.
Flamethrower. Wait a minute.
Bro, you don't know about flamethrower?
Wait a minute.
Sadman,
Ooh. Let's continue. Let's continue.
bro, seriously.
Yeah.
His fourth company is the Boring Company.
Yes. The boring
Oh
company.
my god.
Damn it. Yes, I knew.
And it is called the Boring Company, and its biggest success was making a flamethrower, right?
Yes. 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 I have read about this thing, but did not pay much attention. But yes.
The funny thing is, like, Elon Musk doesn't call it a flamethrower. He said it's a roofing torch, right? And the body that hides the torch is taken from a air gun or like an from a paintball gun. And the craziest part is you are paying for $500 for basically a 30 to $40 roofing torch. And I'm pretty sure that it doesn't even cost $20 to make that flamethrower, right? It's made out of plastic, and inside that plastic gun you have a roofing torch, and you even have to buy the propane gas tank individually. So, like, would you buy that?
Not necessarily.
Yes, everyone would think like it's basically a wasting of money, right? Because in our country we know it very well that with $500, like a low income family can spend a month, right? You have to agree with that.
Yes.
And you are spending that on a $20 roofing torch. And Elon even said that he didn't put a lot of time in it, and even the propane gas tank holder was taken from a straight mountain bike holder. And he even said that don't buy it, right? But it was all just a joke. But people bought it, and guess what? They raised $10 million selling out all the 20,000 flamethrowers that
Yeah.
they made over the course of last year. Like, you even said that you won't buy it, right? I won't buy that either, but people bought it. That's the thing. Like, what do you think is the biggest success behind that flamethrower? Like, what makes it so special that people just bought it, or like people just wanted to spend their money and find it a very silly thing? Like, what do you think?
Let me give me 15 seconds.
Bro, are you gonna do research about that now?
You asked me why people, what was the success behind the flamethrower, right? Or like,
Like, why people bought that thing, right? It's a bullshit type of product.
how could they even sell 20,000 flamethrowers? The answer, simple answer is the GDP, average GDP of USA is 35,898.47 USD from 1960 to 2019. That's the only reason. That's the only reason of success for the flamethrower. There is nothing I can find. Why would
You basically you are trying to say that like people just wanted to spend their money, right? It's
exactly
like buying a toy,
exactly a fancy toy?
a fancy toy, right? You are very right. And they raised $10 million from that. Like, so technically I can say that it's a $10 million joke, right? Very pricey joke, I would say.
Yeah, not for all.
So his company, the Boring Company, they did other things, and one of the most notable thing is like he made a tunnel. It's called Boring Tunnel, and he made that as a solution to avoid traffic congestion. And it's like one way and super narrow tunnel. And there's enough room for only one car. Some people say that it's the same thing and he didn't invented anything new. It was done before and blah blah blah. They say many things about basically Elon Musk's hater. And Casey Neistat once said that people who say it can't be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. Like, is that true actually? Like, does it work?
Ask Casey Neistat. He said the word. It's his words.
Bro, the thing is like he invented the 368 and people thought that it will not be successful. And till this day, I think it's actually not successful. So like 20 years ago, Elon Musk was like 25 to 20 to 25 years old. I don't know the exact age. Then he had a vision of selling electric cars. And as of today, Tesla almost sold 400,000 cars, right? And
Yes,
it's the most successful electric vehicle in the world.
Tesla was a big success for Elon.
Until this day, like it's still a huge success.
Yes, it's still growing. But most probably last year, in at the end of the last year,
2019.
yes, at the end of the last year, most probably they did a conference type that they are releasing a new model for Tesla, and that where the glasses of the car was supposed to be bulletproof, but Elon threw one or two stone, the glass actually shattered.
The Tesla Cybertruck.
Yeah, yes, that was a Cybertruck. The fun part is I saw a YouTuber made a Cybertruck just as the Cybertruck, even more powerful and more compact with a very cheaper rate. And he actually tested it against a 4V truck, and still it outran the power of a 4WD truck. That's insane.
Interesting.
Yes, that was interesting.
That thing is like what I think is they don't spend enough time in the build quality, and they don't even make good looking cars, right? Like if you look at the Cybertruck or the Tesla Model X, whatever, they look super boring, right?
Tesla, Tesla Model S X at least makes sense, but what was the inspiration of the design of Cybertruck? Like
Yes, like it doesn't make sense, right?
exactly, the design does not make sense because you just naming it and like trying to give a futuristic vibe through the design. You have to work hard on your design. It's just look like a mess. It looks some scrap metal wire.
Very basic car.
Very basic, yes. Like what I was saying, it seems like they just took a bunch of scrap metals and welded it together. That design does not make sense.
And they did that, and guess what, like the same thing happened to that Tesla Cybertruck as the flamethrower. It was very famous. Like the after this moment Tesla launched the Cybertruck, it was like trending everywhere. Everyone was talking about that, and Tesla's stock just went up, and everyone just pre-ordered that truck.
Kudos to the marketing team of Tesla. They did a very good job. Like
Of course they did.
the design R&D department, just leave it all that. The technical, mechanical engineering department, leave all that. The marketing team did such a great job.
And the thing is, like, you will be amazed to know this. Like, Tesla, approximately, they 650,000 people pre ordered that truck. Like, how crazy is that?
Ah,
650,000. Like till this day, Tesla has sold over like 400,000 cars, and the Cybertruck has alone beat that. Like, how to say this? Like, people just bought that. No, they pre-ordered that, right?
yes.
And it doesn't make sense. Like, why people are even buying those stuff, the flamethrower or like the Cybertruck. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know the actual mindset of like humans, like how they think. And I think it's all about advertising. The good you are at advertisement, the better you can sell something, right?
Yes, marketing is everything. You have a very good product, but you couldn't market it or like advertise it. No one would buy. Definitely, because people don't even know about that product. But you have a piece of shit, but you have a super good marketing idea or like have such good advertisement capabilities. Then you could sell the product. People will buy.
I think that's why Apple is like a $2 trillion company because of advertising only.
Yeah, yeah, that's another thing.
That's another thing, definitely. Like, but I think that's the main reason. Like, they spend so much money on their advertisement. And recently, I don't know if you have seen that iPhone 12 launch where they like excluded
The charger.
charging brick charging brick from the box, and they said like they are taking out 400,000 cars from road each year if they just exclude that charging brick. And like, that's not true actually. Like, some YouTubers, they actually researched about that and they said like it's not true. And if Apple was really trying to be carbon emission free, and like they could have add like USB type C to their phones, right? But they are not doing it. They are
They won't do it.
using lightning port, right? Yes, they won't do it.
Yeah, that's their only unique feature.
And the thing is, like, if they added USB type C port to their phones, like there would be lot less like charging cable, right? Like, Apple has sold over 30 million or like 40 million pieces of iPhone 11 alone. So there's like, if a charging cable is like 1 meter long, then just do the math yourself. Like, that is Apple actually. So we're not gonna go there. So Elon Musk went to Joe Rogan Experience like 1 years ago. Have you seen that episode?
No.
I definitely recommend that. They talked about some important stuff and interesting stuff. So the topic that I found most interesting is like how social media makes you sad, especially Instagram or and YouTube. Like, do you feel that, or like, do you actually agree that social media makes you sad?
It does not, not sad every time, but it has impact on people's emotion.
Like, I think the opposite. Like, in one end I definitely agree with that, and we're going to talk about that. But in the other end, I feel like social media makes me happy, because like, if I can't watch YouTube, like, I won't be entertained. So if I am not entertained, then like, I won't do my studies properly.
YouTube is not a social media.
But like, it's kind of a social media, right? Like, you know what I'm saying.
It's a
Like,
platform.
it's a platform,
It's
yes.
a media sharing platform. But they were talking about social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, etc.
They included Instagram and YouTube and Twitter. They talked about those three things. And Joe Rogan said, like, when we don't use social media, we feel better, especially Instagram. And there, Joe said a quote. It was something like, comparison is the thief of joy. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Like, if you give it a time and think about it carefully, I think it's more true than we actually realize. Because like, here's the thing. Like, when we see the successful and happy life of a lifestyle blogger like Casey Neistat or Yon Olson and other vloggers or YouTubers or Instagram influencer, and we see their life, and as a viewer you compare that to your own life, and that comparison steal that joy. Like, do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Like, the thing is, like, it's not like it's okay to compare your life, right? Like, everyone does that, and like, it's the nature of a human being. Like, we see those old, not old, like young kids, like when they see something they want that toy, right? When they see a toy from TV or from the internet, they want that toy, right? And we do the same. Like, we compare that, and we also want that happy life. Like, everyone wants to have a happy life, or like wants to lead a happy life. And there, Elon Musk, he also quoted, his quote was like, happiness equals reality minus expectation. Like, how do you describe this?
It's pretty much self-explanatory.
Like, happiness equals reality minus expectation. I think that has something to do with YouTube and Instagram, right? Because like when we are comparing our life, and we are changing the baseline of our expectation. So some people say that it's okay to like have higher visions or like have higher expectations, but then that changing that baseline, that like takes away that happiness.
Basically, what I believe is life gives you what you deserve, not what you want. That's my belief.
Yes, it does. Like we get what we get, right? But the happiness is like, if I am happy with that thing, then I'm happy, right? But like if my expectation is a lot higher, like for example, I give a test and I had a vision that I'm gonna get 90 out of 100, right? But like after getting the result, I see that I got 80, and I'm not gonna be happy after that. Like I thought that I was gonna get a 90, but someone who is like he expected to get 80 and somehow he scored 81. Like he's gonna be happy. Like you know what I mean? Like
The only difference is here you're the optimistic one, and the person you're talking about who expected 80 and got 81, he was the pacifist one. That's the difference between you two.
the thing is, I wanted a 90. Like, is there a problem to have higher visions or like have higher dreams? Do you see that as a problem, or like it's completely okay with you?
It should be okay, because if you does not have a much higher goal to achieve, then you wouldn't even achieve the goal you should. If you thought that, yeah, I would get 80 in exam of 100, you definitely would not get 80, you would get 65, 70. But what happened here is you expected you would get a 90, but you get 80, right? Which is not bad either. You somehow achieve your like the principal goal, the basic goal, but you are expecting much more higher. So in that case, what you would do is you would work hard more next time. That's what will keep you going. After after giving some test, after some time, you would actually understand that what's your caliber, how much you can achieve. At least you like you can expect you'd get 110 in a exam of 100 marks. That's not practical, but expecting 90 is practical. So you do such, and depending on your caliber and hard work, your talent, etc., you'd get 90, you might get 95, you might get even 100, but you might get stuck at 85. That time you will understand what your capability is. You should always expect high, otherwise you would be able to even fulfill the principal goal or the basic goals.
Yeah, you're right. But I think comparing your life and having an higher vision or an higher dream is different. It's completely different. Like now I've understood that. So what we do is like when we see pictures of others or like in Instagram or in Facebook, we see stories like when we see their, people are modifying those pictures like to better looking, and they are gonna post pictures or like their stories when they are happy, right? Like it's the right thing to do. Like you are not gonna post a picture or like post a story when you are unhappy. You are gonna do that when you are happy. And those who are watching those and they are like not having a good time, and they are gonna think like, dude, those men, they are happy, they are having a good life, and I'm not having a good life, so I must suck, right? Then you feel sad. Like that's how this social media works. Basically, that's how social media creates sadness.
That's up to you, because I know social media is all about show off. Social media is where you make people see what you want them. Like you make what? How should I put this? How should I put this sophisticatedly? Let me think for a good 15 seconds. Like social media is all about presenting yourself, and it's up to you how you want to present yourself. Like no one has the perfect life, right?
No one.
You're doing good in study, you're traveling everywhere in the world, etc., etc., you're having leading a happy life. No one's life is such perfect as much, but it's completely up to you that how you want to present it. So I know that the pictures I'm seeing is not 100% real. So yeah, I take that. I'm not depressed, but I'm not depressed and sad about all that, right? Because I know it's just a show, or it's like the show off. But it's up to you how you wanna handle it. That's it.
Yeah, just what you just said is like it's all about show off, and people don't realize that, and it's normal, I guess, because when you take a picture or capture a moment and you want to share that, and which is already cool and awesome, and then you get good feedback from your audience or your followers, right? And after that you might think that let's take it to another level, let's edit this picture and let's make it more good, right? Let's make it more cool, and but it's actually not that cool, right? And your audience or like your viewers, they are thinking that like they are actually having a good time, and like in their home they are not having a good time, right? And that is, I think, where this sadness comes. Like then when you compare that to your life, and then you think like my life is not as good as theirs. So the thing you just said earlier is like it's not real, it's not their reality, right?
It's not 100%.
What we are seeing is like, yes, it's not 100% real. What we are seeing is like we should see this as an entertainment, and the comparing thing is like it's okay to do that, but we should like keep in mind that it's not their reality, right? Like we all have to admit that we all have to go through the same bullshit every day, like same thing.
No, it's not the same bullshit. It's different for. It's vary from person to person, but yeah,
But that's a bullshit to us, right?
it depends on you. Everyone has their different kind of type of problem. Some might have problem with their family, some might have problem with their studies. It varies from person to person, but no one's life is such perfect.
But everyone has problems in their life.
Yes, another thing is social media is a gate away from this problem. So like people pretend more happy, more cool, whatever it is, you have to like minus or deduct the exaggerated part. That's it.
And people are not doing that, and like the viewers, they are saying that like social media was created to like have more fun, like like sharing your life with others and those stuffs. But I think social media is doing the different, it's like it's creating more sadness and more unhappiness in life. And what do you think is the like solution to this? Like use social media, but you should not take it seriously, right? I think I found that the only solution.
There is no solution.
I know there is no solution, but the thing is what we can do as a viewer or like as a follower. That's all we can do. It's about me. Like I have to admit that like without social media, like it's hard for me to pass a day, or like without YouTube or YouTube in general.
That's like you just answered your question by yourself that it varies from person to person. Because to have a particular solution, you need to have a particular problem first. But with social media, what happens is it's different problem for different person. Your problem varies from person to person, right? So this way you can't have a solution. You have to find the solution for yourself. That's it.
That's the solution. And the another thing is I want to say that like when people are like seeing stuff on social media, like pictures or like videos from YouTube, like they all should remember that it's just a form of entertainment, it's not the actual reality. Like if we have this in mind, I think it won't create as much of sadness as it is creating. So yeah, like that is it for today's episode. And Sadman, anything to add?
Nothing actually. You should use social media safely. Like how to put this? Use social media, but don't overuse it.
Yeah, don't overuse it. And Sadman, do you remember your outro?
Yeah, I remember. I guess. Go out, stay safe, enjoy the world, but safely. Kind of. You just say that. I get.
Go out, enjoy the world while staying safe.
Yes, that's it. I have to memorize it. I have to actually write this on my on a piece of paper and have to put this on my wall because every time I forget this. Eventually, I read it, but I forget
Bro,
this.
like we are so dumb.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I'm a brain dead.